This is the Flex Network. Flex on everybody. This right here is the Flex Network. Yeah. Flex OG. Flex.
Oh, oh yes, here we are. I again had a little bit of technical difficulties. I'm just still figuring this out on my own, but we are here. Oh yes, we are here, and we are ready to rank. I actually was calling it battle rank. We're here to battle rank the Sweet 16 of cereal, that tasty, crunchity, sweet goodness, nectar of the child gods, because that's realistically where all this love comes from. For when you were a kid waking up on a Saturday morn looking for that big nice bowl of blank, insert here. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to rank all of the cereals that we could, in our minds, rank top 16. We had a little bit of input from our friends, a little bit of input from you, and we think we came up with something that is pretty remarkable. So on the other end, it's Michael. I am Matt. We are the Flex Network. Michael, tell them what we're going to do here today.
Hey, we're going to get serious into this cereal game, dude. I've been prepping. I'm absolutely ready for this cereal talk here. I walked up to Subway the other day at work for lunch, which is right around the corner, and I just asking just random people what their favorite cereals are. And it's amazing the amount of old people that don't eat cereal. And maybe it's just a cereal thing for like little kids or something, but I'm not quite sure. I eat cereal to this day. I have some personal favorites. We'll get into that here in a little bit, obviously. But I love cereal. I try and not eat so much of the like super high in sugar cereals, but there's a lot of cereals that are very high in sugar. So at times it's difficult to stay away from that, obviously. But there is a place for some of the healthier cereals at times. And of course, after we do this here, we'll jump into some post WrestleMania, post Raw and SmackDown, how we're feeling about all of that. So we'll get that going. We'll talk about a little bit of the NCAA college basketball national championship game. I have some things to say about that. I was a little bit annoyed by the way that things ended there. So we'll talk about that. And then we'll also kind of take a look ahead to what we're going to be doing in our future podcast, talking about, the NFL draft is coming up. It's at the end of this month. It's not too far away. Boom. So we're right around the corner from that. So I'm ready to rock it. Let's go. Let's do this.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, if you're fans, whatever, we posted the bracket. Okay. We got it going live, and a lot of people have a little bit of nerves about some of our first round matchups. So I'm going to pick it up here on the computer. Give me just a second here so I can pull it up. So right now we have number 1 seed. Now what we did here was essentially I got to or Michael got to pick first. I got to pick second. So like the number 2 seed isn't the real number 2 seed. It's just my number 1 seed. So I had all the evens. He had all the odds. And we're going to make this out here. So number 1 is Honey Bunches. I just put Honey Bunches. I couldn't fit in Honey Bunches of Oats, number 1 seed. So number 2 seed, we have Peanut Butter Crunch. And number 3 seed, Cookie Crisp. A good one. A number 4 seed, Reese's. Now is it Reese's, or Reese's?
I've never said Reese's, but I understand why people would say that, but I have always said R Reese's myself. I don't understand. I mean, it's peanut butter, it's chocolate, it's cereal, it's great. So,
So now, am I correct? Now, here's the thing. I bought a box of this cereal recently for my daughter to try. First time she's ever had. She really likes it. But am I wrong to think that this cereal used to have the word puffs in it, like Reese's Puffs? Now, I'm
no,
not,
no, that's right.
no,
That's right.
I'm right, right? So I'm not
Yeah.
too sure if I don't remember, but I want to say they dropped the puffs from it. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and look that up. But what would you feel if you heard that they dropped the puffs from the name?
I would think of time travel. Someone's going back into time to mess with us or something, man. I
Oh
don't know
my
what's going on,
gosh.
but
Okay, so it looks like maybe the puffs is still there. I could have been
okay,
crazy.
okay.
Um,
Might
or
be
maybe
crazy
it's like
still.
it's probably crazy, or it's like that movie with Sinbad where he played a genie and it was called
Oh,
like
yeah.
something like that, like Shazam or something like that. And
That's
then
that's called the Mandela effect, right?
I don't know what that is, but yeah,
Well, just without going too crazy, the Mandela effect is, a theory that things have changed over time, and we remember it as something else, and the reason they call it the Mandela effect is because a lot of people believe that Nelson Mandela died before he ever actually died, and so they call it that, and there's a list of things over time that have kind of changed and, yeah, that's another podcast, conspiracy theory type stuff, so
nice, nice. So way to freak all of our listeners out here.
yeah, just
Okay.
a little bit.
Now they're all looking up when Nelson Mandela died.
Yeah.
Anyway, number 4 seed. Now this is Reese's Puffs, but we actually got a lot of comments about how this is actually the toughest first round matchup, which is going to be Reese's Puffs versus Cinnamon Toast Crunch, a 13 seed. Now, I've done some research here, and I personally am not a big fan of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but
Okay.
it is apparently ranked in like a lot of online rankings as like a top 5 cereal, which I feel may not be completely justified, because I feel like here's the thing: we actually don't even have Cheerios on our list here, and I think like two form of Cheerio was like top 7. So this could be what we call the real G cereal tournament bracket here, but we're gonna keep it going. So, and what I say by that is number 5 seed. Now this is met with some controversy here, Oreo O's, and that was picked by you. So essentially, that's your third seeded cereal, Oreo O's. Can you describe that?
No, Oreo O's are not my 3rd seeded. You have Cookie Crisp at the 3 seed.
No,
Oreo
no,
O's.
no, no, no. Your 3 seed, because remember we went
Oh, yeah,
back
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
forth. So your
Okay.
third cereal was
Yeah.
Oreo O's, a very
Well,
not a very popular cereal, and you have it at your third best pick. So defend your rights on that one.
well, first of all, I'll say that Oreo O's all-time legend, and so if you disagree with that, then there's a pretty good chance that you probably don't like Oreos or you just don't care for them that much. Another thing that I will say is that Oreo O's were a thing when I was a kid, when they came out. I'm not sure what year they were created, but they came out and they were really popular, and then all of a sudden they disappeared. And then I wanna say 2 or 3 years ago now, they resurfaced. Whoever makes them said,
It's like
"Oh."
post or something like that, I think.
Yeah, like yeah, they said, "Oh, we're coming back. We're making them. They're gonna hit shelves this day." The day that they hit shelves, if you are friends with my personal page on Facebook, there is a picture that I had of me just posting up with 2 boxes of Oreo O's, like just rocking it because I'm all about the Oreo O's, but I also understand that there is it Oreos go straight to a very specific demographic. So like if you don't like Oreo flavored things, then I would understand why you wouldn't like the cereal. So it makes sense. And that's the main reason why it wasn't my number 1 seed, Matt, cuz I had Oreo O's as my 1 seed at one point in time as we began discussions talking about cereals.
Okay, so number 6, a popular one that a lot of people have forgotten about, with honeycomb, which is a great honey nectar of the bumblebee variety, in the shape of a honeycomb. Great cereal. Number
Right.
7. Now you've got kind of a high ranking on this cereal as our overall 7 seed, which in my opinion is very close to Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but Cinnamon Toast Crunch ended up being a 13 seed to this 7 seed. But Golden Grams,
Yeah,
um,
I love me
another
some
one by
Golden
you,
Grams. I
another
love
one by
some
you.
I love some Golden Grams, first of all, and we talked about this offline before, but I prefer my Golden Grams in chocolate milk. I don't like in regular milk. I mean, it's still good, but I prefer it with chocolate milk. I think it enhances the flavor. And that's pretty much Matt, when we first met in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. It's pretty much what I ate every day for breakfast for about 3 straight years. So I loved it, and it's still good to this day. So that's pretty much
Man,
how we got at a 7 seed right there for me.
man, yeah, that is definitely the explanation that you just gave was the exact first stage to being or becoming a serial killer. See what
Okay.
I did there? See what I did
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, I
That was
see what you
good. I
did.
I was waiting to drop that one, but it felt like when you said you wanted to put chocolate milk in your cereal at any time, as if that was an accepted thing, that's it. That's when I dropped it. And it happened way early. So
Actually, you know what? The appropriate time to drop that would have been like if someone hopped on here and was like, "Yeah, I'll take the raisin bran with no raisins." Then I would have been like, "Yeah, you're
just
for sure,
bran,
sir. Yeah, just straight bran. Like, yeah, you're
just
a
bran.
serial killer."
Oh man, get out of here with that. Okay, number 8 seed. I went with the Frosted Flakes. Just a real, original, just an old school cereal. Now here's the thing. This number 9, we went ahead and put this as number 9, because this was the general consensus for our friends that we had talked about it. Lucky Charms. And I've got a lot of people that was dead set on Lucky Charms being their number 1, but you or I both not really into Lucky Charms. So I felt it right after the first half of the tournament, which is on us. Then I would say, you know what, we'd have to put Lucky Charms in there to lead the second half. And so, number 9 seed, not a bad ranking. So we'll see how it does. Number 10, Kicks at number 10.
Which
11,
is a head scratcher by me. I mean, that is your choice,
we will
obviously,
get into it.
but it's a
Okay.
head scratcher. Listen, you can't come up here and interrogate my choices, right? And then the second I try and say something, you just want to be like, we'll talk about that later. Okay, Donald Trump, we got to have this conversation.
Okay, right now? I mean, can
No,
we have it when
I'm not saying we need to go in depth, but if I want to make a comment here or there about one of your choices, just like you had done to me earlier with my Golden Grams take,
well, here's the
you
thing.
gotta take it for a second.
Yeah, here's the thing. Kicks goes up against Golden Grams in the first round. So we'll take your chocolate milk serial killer ass against my kid tested, mother approved. Okay.
Also, side note real quick. I don't know if he's watching currently, but the youth director of my church commented way back when and said that Cinnamon Toast Crunch was his 1 seed. So
See, that's what I'm
so what
saying.
so when he gets back to this, or if he's watching now, he's probably upset that you have, that or that we really, because 'cause I'm pretty sure Cinnamon Toast Crunch was my selection, is such a low seed. He's kinda looking at it like a slap in the face. So, um, I'll deal with that on Sunday when I go back to church, obviously, but, we will, we'll have to talk about that. It depends on how far Cinnamon Toast Crunch makes it in the tournament here.
Okay, so 11, right after Kicks, was Cocoa Puffs. Pretty good cereal.
Yeah.
Number 12, my choice, Frosted Mini Wheats. Great cereal again. And then here
Time
we
out.
go. Yep.
So time out. Frosted Mini Wheats. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand why you like them, but my second question is, at certain points they came out with like blueberry frosted mini wheats or like maple flavored frosted mini wheats. Did you mess with any of those? Did you like any of those?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
And actually, here we go again. One of our friends surprisingly put the blueberry frosted mini wheats as their number 1 seed. And I was just taken back by it because number 1, how dare you? And then number 2, at what place would they have in this tournament here with these Goliaths of your everyday known cereal? Would a blueberry frosted mini wheats just have a place? I mean, I really don't, I really don't get it. But here's the thing, Frosted Mini Wheats, I did not put a specific title on it. So maybe, and here's the first round matchup, your Oreo O's against my every flavor Frosted Mini Wheats. So bet you didn't know that was happening.
So I did know that that was happening, but here's the real question. Did or are you prepared to tell me who said blueberry frosted mini wheats? Because I need to know.
He will not be named by last name, but his first name was Kevin. And again, first step to being a serial killer, the name Kevin.
Kevin, okay.
The name
I
Kevin would murder multiple cereals. Number 1 being blueberry frosted mini wheats.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do some investigative, Dog the Bounty Hunter type of investigation going down right now because I need to know who that is. Because if I know them or know of them, I
You
need to be
don't.
able
You
to.
don't. You don't
Oh
know him.
man. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I need
No,
to meet
okay,
that
okay.
person so I can scold him.
Yes, scold with the hottest of waters. Scolded in the microwave of revenge.
Yeah, like hot bread out of the microwave. That type of
Yeah.
scold.
Like the
Burning your hand.
free-handing the garlic bread from the toast, not the toast, from the oven in that bag that was kind of hot, but not hot enough. But like sometimes you'd go in there, freehand it, and
Yeah.
you'd burn yourself scolded
Yeah,
like that.
like you open a bag of popcorn and the steam comes off of the bag of popcorn and burns your hand and you say multiple F words because it hurts so bad. That type of
L
scold.
O L for that one. All right,
Yeah.
so here we go. The the often misrepresented apparently Cinnamon Toast Crunch as your 13 seed.
Uh-huh.
Fruity Pebbles with your
Right.
14 seed. Now this is a big one here. Tricks are for kids at your 15 seed, and for me, my very last seed. Um, now this is kind of unique because my number 2 seed is Peanut Butter Crunch, but I felt like I graduated from regular Captain Crunch to Peanut Butter Crunch, and that's why I had to keep Captain Crunch, the original, with berries and, the little golden, like, crisp things, which are a fantastic cereal of their own accord. But but not the berries one by itself. I would never do that. I'm not that crazy. But Captain Crunch, the original, is coming in at our 16th seed. Now, if you're just now joining us, we have the top 16 seeds of cereal here. We just went down the seeds, rewind the video. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get to the final four. And essentially, we're going to have the winner of each region, just like the normal Sweet 16 tournament. And we get to the final four next week. We will be taste testing and taste reviewing the final four, and then the final championship cereals one by one. It's going to be phenomenal. Sounds like a great time. So let's get through the first round here. Let's start with Honey Bunches of Oats, which is a 1 seed, against Captain Crunch, the 16 seed. Now, let me quickly, because we don't have all day. We'll be here all day if we do this, and spend so much time on it. But let's kind of put why we chose both cereals as our represented seed, and then give a slight sales pitch on why that seed should beat Honey Bunches of Oats, or the opposite seed. So Captain Crunch, I picked it mainly, like I said, because my favorite cereal came from this cereal. So it's basically the son. I would say the captain. He's the greatness. And then you had the son, Peanut Butter Crunch. And the son went on to extremely successful yonders.
Yeah, so the captain laid the foundation. He's a first generation. He's a pioneer. He laid the foundation so that the son could come in and really do some damage.
Exactly. And we all know from mythical tales, the sons are the seed of fruit from the original gangster.
Do you even know what you're saying right now?
Not right now. Not 100%, but it sounds great.
You said the word seed, and then your brain was like immediately like, man, I don't know where I'm going next.
Yeah. Right. Captain Crunch original. The berries are great. It is a cereal that, in my eyes, didn't get too soggy, right away. You like to pour the milk in it, have the fresh bites. I don't know, just a great cereal in my eyes. So number 1 seed on your side to go against the 16 is Honey Bunches of Oats. Now, do tell why you would pick Honey Bunches of Oats, number 1 seed.
So I like Honey Bunches of Oats. Well, one, because of the overall flavor. I think the overall flavor is great. I'm not sure how healthy it is, but I convince myself that when I'm eating it that it's healthy, because honey and oats is in the name. So I've never actually turned the box to the side and looked at it to see if it was healthy. But one of the main reasons that I selected it as my number 1 seed is because it is my favorite cereal to buy, or one of my favorite cereals to buy. But it has the flake, like the Frosted Flakes have, without all the sugar on it. But then the bunches of oats in it are really what like set it off. And so that kind of like, Frosted Flakes kind of have the tendency to get soggy the longer they sit in milk. So the flake part of it can get soggy, but the oats keeps the crunch and
so texture throughout every bite.
Oh, for sure, definitely. Like that's something that I put a lot of value on, is texture.
Well,
So
and then I think
that's my 1 seed.
Honey Bunches of Oats, what's really strong about them is that you might have a strawberry, an almond, blueberry Honey Bunches of Oats, where they have, they tell you it's bits of real strawberry. I highly doubt that. But when you're trying to be healthy, Honey Bunches of Oats with some strawberries or some almonds in there makes you feel really good. And like you said, it does have a very Frosted Flake feel without all the sugar, and still is able to maintain its sweetness.
Right.
Here's the thing about Honey Bunches of Oats. Would never be on my list Okay. But I do enjoy eating Honey Bunches of Oats, and I really do enjoy the utility that Honey Bunches of Oats has with a strawberry, a blueberry, bananas. Like you can, if you just get a real banana and chop that thing up into your Honey Bunches of Oats almonds.
You
Uh,
set it off. That's a power breakfast. You're starting your day right with that.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. And the you're right about the texture thing. Captain Crunch will get soggy. I think every cereal will get soggy, but the oats, do they ever get soggy? Ever?
Hmm.
You tell me. I mean, you're the one eating this cereal. Do the oats ever get soggy?
I've never had a bowl of Honey Bunches of Oats where the oats got soggy, but at the same time, like, I'm putting in work when I'm eating a bowl of cereal. Like, I'm eating that bowl and then as fast as I can, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I got enough time, and the milk's still cold enough where I can power out a second bowl of cereal without having to change the milk out."
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say that as much as I love Captain Crunch, it is my 16 seed. And for Honey Bunches, being as versatile with essentially a part of its cereal that will never get soggy, that's got to put it through, I think. What about you?
So I think that we're in a position where we look at it and we say, okay, we got a 1 seed and we got a 16 over here, but um, you put up a valiant effort. It's a strong matchup, but I just think that the Honey Bunches of Oats just power through.
Yep, yep. We're gonna go ahead with that. That's I like that. Number two, although I don't know that it's a straight runaway. We have a peanut butter crunch versus a Trix. Now, we did have a couple comments on my number one seed.
Okay.
Um, Mainly, and to use the word specifically, razor blades would be the term defined to peanut butter crunch.
Okay.
Um, I think it's a very unfair justification on a peanut butter crunch. I mean, I wouldn't say that they don't crunch, and they got crunch in their name. Okay. I wouldn't say razor blades, but I would say they crunch. They don't quickly go soft. Um, that was a joke I was going to make there, but I chose not to.
Yeah.
But going up against Trix. Now, Tricks, remind me on Tricks. Those were the ones where it had the bunny rabbit as the spokesperson. Tricks are for
Right.
kids,
Right.
right?
He could
And
never he could never get him in the commercials back in the day.
what?
Like, the commercial for Trix, every time the bunny rabbit would try and get a bowl of Trix.
Oh, right. Silly rabbit. Tricks are for
Right.
kids.
Yeah,
Right.
like, the kids, he would just pour a bowl, about to eat it, and then the kids would come in and snatch it up from him, and they would be like, "Silly rabbit, Tricks are for kids." Like, he could never actually get it.
Oh my gosh. I am actually looking at this box of cereal right now. And it's like it's kind of cool. It's got the bunny like hiding behind the Trix logo, like trying to grab him some of the Trix. But nope, you ain't gonna get the Trix, rabbit. They aren't for
Nah,
you.
dude.
They
Nah,
are
dude.
not for you. And I'm actually a little scared right now to my peanut butter crunch because that's my cereal, and I just I can't I can't let it go down this easy. So let me look at the box here for the Captain Crunch peanut butter crunch. Okay, it's got the crunch guy there, Captain. He's the dad, right? And he's scooping up a couple balls of peanut butter here. Okay, definitely not as exciting as I want it to be. Now, peanut butter crunch. The reason why I like it so much is because peanut butter itself is a very strong universal flavor.
I eat
Uh,
it daily. It's fantastic.
you eat peanut butter in general daily? Like
Yes.
spoons of peanut
Yeah.
butter?
Yeah, I eat it as much as I can. It's like the best thing ever.
So we had one of our friends write in here, peanut butter crunch wins on taste. Okay, so you're right. You know, I can remember that you've got all these like berries here. It's not like honey bunch of oats where you got like real berries. These are fake berries with fake flavor for each and every berry, right? So you got a strawberry, a raspberry, or something like that, banana. Now, I don't think they were all super flavored. It wasn't like you got just a complete mix of some brand berry
Uh-huh.
flavory, but peanut butter crunch had a real crisp peanut butter taste with a nice crunch, very difficult to get soggy. And I can remember specifically when I was a kid that I would have what you would call that second bowl. You know, you poured the milk over to cereal because you would never put the milk in first, right? Because that's again another trait of a serial killer.
Or a
But
communist.
I don't get that reference, but I'm there. I'm there with you. But I can remember I would get done with the bowl of cereal, like you said with the honey bunches, and be ready to go in on some more with the same bowl of milk because it didn't get soggy. You ate it right away, and it was crisp. I mean, what do you think?
So that's obviously like a really strong um one seed. Peanut butter anything will always have my vote just because I love peanut butter. It makes total sense for it to be a one seed, so I'm down for that always. One thing I would say about the tricks is our friend Jack here actually dropped some comments in, and he said, I wouldn't vote for tricks normally, but they did revert back to fruit shapes again after years of being fruit circles, and that deserves definite consideration. So
What? Why would that deserve consideration on a win? So
no,
is he
no,
just
no. He's just saying not a win necessarily. He's not saying that gives them the win. He's just saying that you just got to put that into consideration. That it's kind of like how do I compare this? It's kind of like with the WWE and the Undertaker constantly coming back. It's nostalgia. People love it, you know, and so it's just one of those things. Like you have to, like the original fruit shapes, like the banana flavored tricks are shaped like bananas. That's all he's
they
getting at.
were. See, yeah, I'm with you now because you're right because that's the problem is I forget about that because I haven't had tricks in so long. But I'm gonna vote peanut butter crunch for the sheer factor that they didn't try to cut corners in cost to keep their cereal relevant on the shelves by going to a simple ball matrix for every flavor and then have to say, sorry, folks, we apologize for taking the entire reason why kicks or tricks was a thing, which was the little individual shapes of the fruit that was in there. And then they have to then basically pull back the veil and put back the shapes. So I'm going to say, for that reason, tricks, you're cut. I'm going to put my vote for peanut butter crunch. What about you?
I love peanut butter, so it was very easy. Tricks. If this were, I'm gonna do this. I think every round, compare it to a game's style of game. If it were me, it it would look like a situation where you would get late in the game and then you would kind of get in foul trouble, and then it was just too much power to take over. Close game, but I think peanut butter takes it, wins by 8, 10 points, something like that. Yeah, you just can't beat it. Peanut butter is such a solid choice all the time, so it's good.
Wow, that's great. I would like to read a comment about a cereal here. I fuck with Captain Crunch. Its only downside is that it can be dangerous to eat. Scratches your mouth. If you're a grown ass man, you can chew and be okay. Captain wins in a buzzer beater. Now, That's exactly it. I'm going to leave that there. We're going to go peanut butter crunch, but I'm going to say, well, I don't want to say, but I would say now it narrowly escapes to the second round. Very, very good battle there.
So one thing I would say is don't let that commenter trick you into saying that the Captain Crunch only scratches your mouth. Because I remember as a middle schooler or elementary school kid that Captain Crunch consistently made the roof of my mouth bleed from how strong that cereal was. Maybe I was a little more sensitive as a kid, but I'm here to say that that's some pretty strong cereal.
Yes, yes. And you cut out a little bit there, so we'll figure that out too. All right, number 3. This one's nice. Cookie Crisp is a solid number 3 seed. I think we can both agree on the reasoning why Cookie Crisp is so high, but as a kid, you wanted to just eat chocolate chip cookies essentially every single second of the day. And Cookie Crisp was one of those things that you could eat that would kind of give you an ambiance of eating just completely um, all the all the plus foods that kids couldn't eat. Chocolate chip cookies, you could even lump Oreos in there. Maybe McDonald's. That's not going to be a cereal, but that's just type of that same thing where you're not going to want to let kids eat McDonald's all the time, And so Cookie Crisp was kind of one of those taboo cereals for me personally, because whenever we bought it, it was clear as day that this cereal was going to be just pure infatuation with being unhealthy and everything. And to be honest, my dad liked it more than I did. And so he is the actual reason we had it in the house a lot because he's just a big kid himself. And so I think it's a pretty strong factor that Cookie Crisp has an adult vote from the early childhood. Also, Fruity Pebbles. It's going up against the 14 seed Fruity Pebbles. In my eyes, a fantastic rice cereal. What do you think about Fruity Pebbles there?
Well, I'll start with Cookie Crisp just like you did, and I'll just say that there's a lot of nostalgia for me in Cookie Crisp. I remember being at our friend Jack's house in middle school and high school, actually, and his grandma coming home from Costco with just these just massive boxes of Cookie Crisp, and him and I just deciding that we're sitting down and we're wrecking both of these boxes until they're gone. She's gonna have to make a second trip to Costco because we're about to wreck both these boxes. He had the traditional bowl. I had a very classic red bowl with the straw on the side to drink the milk when I was done with
Oh
said
man, the
cereal.
straw bowls.
Yeah, those hit
Oh,
way hard. Those hit so hard.
when they were a
Anyway,
thing, like the greatest invention ever when they came out. Like, oh, you could just slurp this from the straw on the side of the bowl. I'm like, yes, yes, I can. This is
no
empowering.
doubt, no doubt.
Okay, Fruity Pebbles. What did you think about
Okay,
that?
so I love the overall flavor. I think it's classic. If they could find a way to make them not get soggy so fast, then I'm all about them. I love the flavor. I think it's great while it's crunchy, but the second it gets soggy, I'm out. I don't like soggy anything. I don't like if I'm eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and someone puts too much jelly on it, making the bread soggy, I'm all the way out. I can't stand it. So the sogginess is what messes it up for me, but I think that it overall it's a pretty good cereal while it's crunchy.
Wow. Yeah, no, you're right. That's kind of why it's high on, or not high, it's on my list. Um, when that cereal is crunchy, it's it beats. Like I can remember distinctively that I would pour this cereal and I would try to eat it as fast as possible because every fresh bite of the cereal was great, but you had a ticking time bomb. And once that time hit, the rest of the cereal was unedible. I think honestly, this is a pretty a straight shooter win for Cookie Crisp here, without much, um, needing to convince anybody. I think by far, one of our commenters here, um, chocolate over fruit, I think is what it said. Chocolate beats fruity. And that's 100%. That's 100% correct. 100%. I think chocolate will win over a fruit cereal. Any day of the week. Chocolate or peanut butter, hard flavors like that versus a fruity flavor. Another honorable mention to our tournament was Fruity Pebbles, or I mean Fruit Loops. Excuse me, Fruit Loops did not make our list, mainly because again, to me, Fruit Loops is the same thing that Trix is. They're all
Right.
just fruit in a different type of cereal with a different animal, but they're the same tasting cereal. So for me, I just thought Fruity Pebbles being a rice cereal and Trix having a better gimmick, in my eyes, when one out. And so that's why we're going to put those guys in here ahead of that. So we're going to go pretty hard Cookie Crisp. Would you agree?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's one of those situations where you're just straight up outmatched. It's just a landslide. Maybe not like a massive landslide, but easy double digit win.
Yep. All right. Now we get down, and maybe if we have our listeners out there listening, I would like some comments on this. We are going to go number 4 seed Reese's Puffs
Oh.
against 13 seed, maybe the Cinderella of the tournament, 13 seed Cinnamon Toast Crunch. What are your thoughts?
Oh man. So I'll start with Reese's Puffs. For years, that was my one seed without a doubt. Um, like I said, peanut butter is one of my favorite things to eat, and anytime you accompany it with chocolate, I think you're into some godlike territory. Um, And so for that reason, I really, really, really like it. Reese's Puffs have the ability to not get soggy unless you're just being straight lazy with your cereal and just not eating it in a timely manner. Like I said, I devour cereal, so it doesn't last very long once I pour it in the bowl. Um, it they're just like they're great. I love them. So I don't really have anything else to say about that. But what was the other one? Cinnamon Toast Crunch, right?
Yep.
Okay, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Love it. I think the first bowl is awesome. I told you I'm a two bowler. I like to eat two bowls of everything, regardless of what cereal it is. I prefer it. Um, so I'll eat two bowls of that. But the problem with that is if I get too much cinnamon in anything, whether it's cereal or something else, I'm out. I can't do it. And so I can only really eat one bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch and be able to deal with the cinnamon flavor. And so I think in this scenario that Reese's Puffs takes a slight edge, buzzer beater type of victory over Cinnamon Toast Crunch, specifically because I can't eat more than one bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
So yeah, I think for sure when you really break down the bowls of cereal, okay? So like you said, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, great first bowl cereal, okay? You'll eat it, you'll have a very sugary high that you get from it, but pretty instantly into your second bowl, do you regret that you really even started eating it? What I think is the same but different about Reese's Puffs also has a pretty phenomenal first taste. Okay, you can get through a whole entire bowl of Reese's Puffs and feel great. Now, what my problem with Reese's Puffs is once you get to that second bowl, the peanut butter flavor to me starts to actually take a back seat to the chocolate flavor.
I
And so
agree.
where I really started out loving, because I'm a peanut butter crunch guy, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, okay, well, it's a softer peanut butter flavor compared with the soft chocolate flavor, which to me is a great combination. Great. I'm eating it. I'm eating it. I feel great. As I get into the second bowl, it seems like I'm eating Cocoa Puffs, because I'm so that peanut butter flavor doesn't hit as hard as it did. Now, I don't know if it's the crispness of the milk, or maybe I'm starting to get out of ratio with the amount of peanut butter to chocolate. Maybe just like a peanut butter cup. I don't know that there's equal ratios of peanut butter to chocolate in a peanut butter cup. You know, you get that real hard peanut butter flavor in a peanut butter cup, but as you get through the peanut butter cup, I think am I right? Am I wrong on that?
Oh, I think you're right.
Same thing with the cereal.
Right.
Okay. After a while, you're actually eating a chocolate cereal with hints of peanut butter. And so, no, oh, peanut butter cup is like 75%, or not peanut butter cups. Reese's Puffs is like 75% peanut butter. I would have to highly disagree with that comment. Okay. And here's the thing, I got a box of that some bitch in my house right now. When I get done with this, I'm going to go eat a bowl, and I'm going to see, you know, I'm going to maybe count. I'm going to do a count, and we're going to see. But I think that cinnamon flavor is not like peanut butter, not like chocolate, in saying that it is a universal flavor. When people, go out to eat candy, they're not going to eat cinnamon candy, and when they do, typically cinnamon candy is hot candy,
Right.
right? It's a spice.
Like red hots, or even anything
Hot
cinnamon
tamales.
flavored, like Fireball whiskey is
Yep,
hot.
big red gum, right? So when you think about that, you're eating a condensed form of big red gum on your toast like cereal bits. And when you put it like that, it makes sense as to why you can't have a super ton of bowls of that cereal, where you can always eat chocolate. You might not be able to always eat peanut butter as far as the candy, but most candies or most chocolate, or most candies are chocolate. And so chocolate's kind of, again, universal flavor, 100% greatness, in my eyes, that first bowl. And then we have a comment, is that peanut butter cups. Okay, I got what you mean. Peanut butter cup is about 75% peanut butter. Okay. Well, then
Hey,
maybe.
and my buddy Ryan wanted us to not skip over the fact that we are when you eat a bowl of Reese's Puffs, the flavor that is left in the milk is all time.
Okay.
Like he
Oh,
loves it. He loves it.
okay. Yes, and that goes back to our comment of the straw built into the bowl,
Right.
uh,
Just
which.
power that I had a bowl at our friend Jack's house that no one, I think it was designed for like little kids and nephews and stuff like that. But when I came into that picture, the bowl became mine. No one else used the bowl. It was just straight up my bowl. I always used it. I washed it. I was always eating cereal out of it. Like you can ask Jack. He just knew what was going down when it came to that bowl. I'm pretty sure it was a red bowl, and I used to just chug milk out of that thing. It was awesome.
Okay. Don't worry, viewers. I know you're getting restless to your favorite cereals. Okay. We are getting there. Next up is what I'm going to call a cult favorite, Oreo O's, which was, again, your number 3 seed. And it's going to go up against Frosted Mini Wheats, which was my pick at number 12. Now, this one apparently has a pretty big, um, issue between Michael and I, and also because Michael and I have a very specific group of friends that all ate this cereal when it was around. Here's the thing: I never did. When we're talking about Oreo O's, I never ate it. Now, I've never literally had a bowl of it, but I can distinctively tell anybody who is a fan of Oreo O's. And I would ask them, I say, hey, listen, Oreo O's, you're not going to be a fan completely if you're not into Oreos in general. And so if you can honestly say, walk up to 100 people and, hey, are you into Oreos, or would you rather, if you go into a store, is your first purchase an Oreo or is your first purchase a chocolate chip cookie? I would say there's probably more people that might say a purchase chocolate cookie, or maybe their first purchase would be a different cookie, or maybe their first purchase would be a different flavored anything. Maybe it's a cracker or anything. So when you look at like the idea of how far down Oreos in general are in the first purchase snack, it makes it easy to see the reason why somebody didn't pick Oreos in general as a snack would be the same reason why they couldn't eat Oreo O's. And that was my case. I am just not an Oreo fan. And it's not a universal flavor like chocolate, like peanut butter. It's also not a universal flavor like a cinnamon is. Oreo now is kind of right behind cinnamon, I would say, because if you go into a cereal or a ice cream like cookies and cream, so cookies and cream as a flavor would be kind of an Oreo based flavor. And again, cookies and cream, very particular people really enjoy it. And the only real way to be enjoying a cookies and cream flavored ice cream or cookies and cream chocolate bar would have to say that you in turn enjoyed Oreos. And so if you in fact just know that Oreos are not your primary thing, then how in the world could you vote for Oreo O's in general against a cereal like Frosted Mini Wheats that has a very strong flavor of a nice sugar, but you also get a lean, I would say lean feel when you're eating a wheat cereal. So you feel better about yourself. Okay. And what do you think about the idea that Oreo as a flavor is really the key definition to why Oreo O's would be good or would be bad?
Um, I would say two things. Number one, I would say that Oreo O's are uh, the best cereal in the world, um, as an opinion. But I would also say that if you don't like Oreos, then there's something biologically wrong with you, because Oreos are great and Oreo O's are fantastic. I drove to when they announced that they were relaunching Oreos and putting them back on shelves. I drove to multiple Walmarts and Albertsons and different stores just to find them because they said that they were launching with Walmart when they had originally launched them. I believe it was Kellogg that owns the rights to Oreo O's. I may be wrong, but I think that I'm right. But anyway, they were originally launching with Walmart, and I drove to, I think, 3 Walmarts before I finally found them. And I called a handful of them so that I didn't have to drive the distance because I needed to know if they were on the shelves or not. And like I said, I posted up with 2 boxes of Oreo O's in my sister's living room, took a picture, and it's an all-time classic picture. But I love Oreo O's, but I understand why it can't be a 1 seed, because if you don't like Oreos, then you won't like the cereal. That's just the facts of it. So And that's the main reason why I didn't have it as a 1 seed, even though I was really close to putting it as my 1 seed anyway.
Okay, so I want to give updates on the chat here. So what I just spent a really long time explaining was trying to break down the idea that Oreos or the flavor of Oreo in general wasn't a very big populace. But as I am being reminded here by some Oreo fanboys in the chats here, one was a texted picture of Oreos, the cookie in general, the cookie. It says America's favorite cookie. On top of
Facts.
that, Oreo, they were contemplating that was the Oreos, like crushed Oreos, was the number one ice cream topping at nationwide like fast food places. So we're talking about like an Oreo McFlurry, McDonald's, a McFlurry, or like an Oreo milkshake or something. So here's the thing. Yes, okay, maybe Oreos are kind of like a more popular, cookie or flavor. But what I was trying to say was, if you compared snacks in general, because you would have to first pick cookie as a snack and then go to the Oreos as your preferred cookie. And I just feel like when you're talking about snacks in general, cookies are not like high on the list. Like when I go and I say, "Hey, we're meeting a bunch of guys to watch the UFC. I'm going to go pick up some snacks." Like cookies aren't the first snack I'm grabbing, and definitely Oreos aren't the first cookie I'm even grabbing. Now that's me, but I'm just saying I would think that more people would enjoy chips or like a sunflower seeds, or like chips. Chips probably the number one snack that somebody would grab, or tortillas and salsa, but you don't see them making you know salsa cereal, for a cult following. And obviously it's not as sweet, but Cookie Crisp is going to be my reason why Oreo O's is going to win this one. And I will give you that, because Cookie Crisp is essentially the chocolate chip cookie cereal to the Oreo being the Oreo O's cereal. And for that reason, I would say that cookies in cereal representation are a very strong opponent. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pass Oreo O's. And I did go on a snack tangent. I'm just trying to set myself up for the next round of Oreo O's, because they've got a strong matchup as a 5 seed against the 4 seed Reese's Puffs. Now, moving on. I am not aware of the cream bursts in Oreo O's, but I would assume that they would have to be there, because the cream is the by far best part of the Oreo. I would go so far to say that I could deal without the cookie part and just eat the cream. Okay? The cream part, I would, just
A
eat by itself.
a commenter actually made a point that um they prefer Oreo O's over the actual Oreo cookie anyway. So it sounds like they just prefer Oreo O's in general. Like it helps that it's an Oreo flavor, but there's a reason that people dunk Oreo cookies into glasses of milk, just because the combination is great. So um the idea of the Oreo cookie in milk, the Oreo O's in a bowl of milk is good, and I think that's why it takes it.
That's a good point, actually, because if I do ever eat Oreos, I will not do it if it isn't comboed with a nice glass of cold milk that I get to dump.
You're not just posting up just eating 6, 7, 8 Oreos dry. How weird is that? That's a serial killer move right there.
Well, that I feel like is the only reason why people would even enjoy Oreo O's, because they are the type of people that would sit down and mash on 12 dry Oreos.
No,
And
heck no. No,
this is
no,
a
no,
problem in
no.
America.
Listen,
Yes.
listen, you are the minority in this situation. And the sooner you come to admit that, there's a reason people are blowing us up right now, just taking just like left and right hooks at you because you are the minority. You don't understand the greatness that is Oreo O's. Listen, a, a commenter said that losing the Oreo O's for 6 years was almost as bad as losing the Sonics in '08. You know how much that sucks?
Oh my God, I would not even come close to compare. Okay, let me give you a sidebar story
Okay.
quickly. Jack in a Box. Like I used to eat a lot of fast food as a kid because I was broke kid. So I really enjoyed fast food. Jack in a Box used to have this sandwich. It was like the first foray for Jack in a Box into deli sandwiches. But it wasn't a deli sandwich as you know it. It was a long rolled sandwich, bread sandwich, long and skinny, and it was called the panito. Okay, I will have to agree that if you love something so much, and all of a sudden you lose it for 6+ years, it is heartbreaking. Because as a child, I must have been in 6th grade, barely, had hair on my chest, and I go up to Jack in the Box. I literally rode my bike like 30 blocks to go to the Jack in the Box, which is not very far on a bike. I'm off my bike. I chain my bike up. I get in line. I don't see it on the menu, but I'm like, you know what? That might not be weird. Like, I'm just going to go up to the desk. I'm going to order it anyway. Because, like, I got this 2 days ago, and how fast could things change? And boy, was I wrong. Okay. I go up there and I go, can I get a panito? It was like a number 7. It was like, and I rattled off the whole order. I'm like, a turkey panito with the zesty ranch. And then they go, that's been discontinued. And remember, I'm like 5th or 6th grade. So I take a step back, look at the menu as if I didn't even hear anything that dude said, because I didn't know what the word discontinued meant, I think. And so I went back up to the guy after 2 seconds of taking a step back in just complete awe. He then proceeds to describe to me that discontinued meant that they no longer sold the panito. And I literally just put my head down, walked out of there, and rode my bike home. And it was the most devastating point in my life as a child. So I will agree with you guys, Oreo O's. Here's the thing. If the cereal makes it to top 4, if we are going to go and get a box of each cereal, and we're, like I said, going to have a taste test and a taste review test. If it makes it to Final 4, I will have my very first box of Oreo O's cereal, which you say is around, right? It's
Yeah,
around.
you can just straight up get it at any store. Also, I have what you would call stock in Oreo O's and surplus of Oreo O's. They're always on deck at my house.
Okay, so just in case I cannot find any Oreo O's,
I could
I
straight up
will.
FedEx overnight or something. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that sounds like a great time.
Yeah.
Next on the list, Honeycomb,
Oh,
number 6 versus number 11, a Cocoa Puff. And I am going to let you start with this one, sir.
okay. Well, first of all, what I'll say about honeycomb is I don't feel like they get soggy. I may be mistaken because it has been a little while since I've had them. I don't remember them getting soggy. Another thing that I'll say about honeycomb is the honey flavor isn't overwhelming. It's good. It's the right amount of crunch, right amount of honey, and it's just overall a real solid choice for a cereal. Some people like the more sugary types of cereals. With this one, I'm pretty sure the sugar's probably there, but you don't feel like you're eating that sugar. So maybe there's a little manipulation there on their part, but that one's pretty solid. I don't have much to say about the aftertaste of what the milk tastes like in the bowl because, like I said, I haven't had it in a little while. But nothing sticks in my brain as to what is left over. And then as we move on to Cocoa Puffs, I chose Cocoa Puffs as what'd you say, the 11 seed? Is that what
Yep.
it was?
11
Okay.
versus the 6 at Honeycomb. It was just a
Okay.
strong this is a strong first round matchup because
Right.
this is probably where I would say that I am the most torn next to the Oreo O's because I have not tasted it. I let you sell me on that just because
Uh-huh.
I did not go into enough about Frosted Mini Wheats, but I do understand that half the cereal is cardboard. And
Right.
so I just, this was an easy one to be shooken from. But Honeycomb, um, quickly, not to cut you off, I'm going to read a comment from a viewer. I know we're not at Cocoa Puffs yet. So this was a comment earlier just about how much Cocoa Puffs was so great.
Right.
While it does lose a step with the SOG, like all other cereals do, the Cocoa Puff is edible, unlike others. Then the post bowl chocolate milk is top tier. Now, I am actually going to vote Ixnay on that whole idea because I felt like the chocolate Cocoa Puff was a really inorganic chocolate flavor. Like it did not taste in my eyes like the chocolate that I got from a Snickers bar. And
Right.
so that is why I always had a problem with Cocoa Puffs because the chocolate was in no way the same like what you would think you would be eating a bowl of chocolate. Instead, you're eating a bowl of what is completely noticeable from first bite as a synthetic chocolate flavoring. And then again, you talk about the chocolate in the milk. Again, it's not chocolate milk. Like I have a definite disconnect with that being called chocolate milk because it's a very fake flavored version of what I know and love. What do you think?
I would agree with you to an extent. I would say the chocolate does taste like it's artificial. And the best thing I can compare it to is if you have ever had like a chocolate um, protein powder,
Ooh,
you
yep.
can always say that the chocolate is very artificial, and you don't feel like you're actually eating chocolate. Like when you eat, like you referenced the Snickers bar. When you eat a Snickers bar, you really feel like you're eating chocolate. Um, I think that the Cocoa Puffs, what it does to the milk, I think it is drastically overrated. Um, it does do a good thing to the milk, but I think people give it too much hype. It's not as good as everyone thinks. Um, but I will say something about Cocoa Puffs. They are the perfect balance between a Captain Crunch that cuts the roof of your mouth um and like a Cocoa Pebble that just disintegrates into the milk. I think they're the perfect balance between those two. Um, and
Now let me ask you this question. Do you remember the honey flavoring from honeycomb being a very synthetic tasting honey?
no, I have always been of the impression that the honey flavor from honeycomb was weak. I thought it could have been stronger. Um,
But
and
that's the greatness of it. Because when it gets too strong, then you have what Cocoa Puff has on its hands, a very unauthentic flavored cereal where you get a very slight honey flavoring, which maybe it's just because honey as a flavor is not terribly overbearing, in
well,
general.
it's not as strong as of a flavor as a cocoa or a chocolate is. I would agree with that. But I would also say that honeycombs consistently left me like wanting more, like
Which
wanting a
is
stronger
great.
flavor.
But that's better. Is that better than having the whole bowl of Cocoa Puffs and wanting to vomit everywhere because it was too much?
First of all, I've never had a bowl of Cocoa Puffs and wanted to vomit unless I was actually sick.
Which I would eat honeycomb if I was sick.
I don't know if I would even choose cereal if I was sick. I probably wouldn't eat anything, but
Honeycomb makes you feel good. Like, it's bright. It's a nice, bright honeycomb shape. It's not a simple puff of synthetic overbearing chocolate flavoring that what you just did was compare it to a chocolate protein shake, which is the biggest disrespect you could ever lay to the originators of the Cocoa Puff.
no, I the reason I said that is because I'm just trying to compare the artificial chocolate flavor to something.
But when you
And
compare it to a protein shake, you're trying to go and tell the listener who has never ate a bowl of Cocoa Puff. Now, that would be pretty rare, but if you were going to tell somebody who has never ate either cereal and you were to explain it in the way that you just did, you might literally get that person to not even eat cereal because that idea of it tasting like a freaking protein shake is not a very good look. It's not a great look. And if you were to just, I can envision it now. Somebody comes up, they go to eat Cocoa Puffs, they take a bite, and then you give them a bowl of chocolate protein powder in cereal and said, tell me the difference. And they literally can't. That's a fail in my eyes, a huge fail.
so one thing I would say is the best thing to compare it to is kind of like if you eat a let's say you got a 12 count of chicken McNuggets from McDonald's, right? And you ask someone, "Hey, do you feel like you're eating chicken or do you feel like you're eating a artificial creation of chicken?" I would say that 9 out of 10 people at McDonald's would say this is definitely an artificial creation of chicken. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad or that you don't like the taste of it.
No, you know what? That's actually, here's the thing. I'm going to let Cocoa Puffs win this one because of
Oh, I
what.
thought we were gonna go 50-50 and we're gonna have to flip a coin over here or
No,
something.
listen, I'm going to let Cocoa Puffs go because what you just said sold me. Because
Okay.
you're right. When you go and get a chicken McNugget as a child, you don't care that it's the furthest thing from original tasting chicken. All you care about is it good or not? I personally didn't like it, but I could see how a nation of people who enjoy chocolate would go nuts over a Cocoa Puffs. And we're going to leave it at that.
Okay,
Cocoa Puffs with the win.
okay, so the final thing I would say, not in relation to those cereals, but 2 things. 1, I thought you were supposed to be the expert salesman between the 2 of us, and I have officially sold you and changed your mind on 2 different cereals so far during this cast. And the second thing is this alpha brain has really got me functioning on a top gear that I'm just really selling you on something right now. It's crazy.
You, my friend, are a gentleman and a scholar. But you will not persuade me on the next one. A 7th rank, which is an 7th rank. That's like the Lonzo Ball of cereals. A very overrated cereal for 7. And you're going up against a 10 rank Kicks. Okay. Golden Grams. There's a lot of people that probably never had a bowl of Golden Grams. Would you think that might be like saying if Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Golden Grams were flipped, would Cinnamon Toast Crunch not potentially be in the Final Four just because of its bracketology and its placement? But since you had Cinnamon Toast Crunch go up against a Reese's Puffs in the first round, now you have a Golden Grams, which in my eyes has always been has always been a knockoff Cinnamon Toast Crunch to me. That's what Golden Grams to me is. Because
Okay.
go ahead. Okay, am I wrong?
Okay. First of all, let me just say that this was my homerism pick, right? So there are two types of people.
Yeah,
There
one that
there
go ahead.
no, go
Two
ahead.
Okay, two types of people. I know what he was gonna say. One, people that kind of like a sweet flavoring to their cereal, and then there's people who enjoy Kix. Because I definitely understand that Kix, in my eyes, doesn't really have a flavor. Okay, come on, commenters, let me know. I mean, when you eat a spoonful of Kix, you're really not expecting to have a flavor attached to it. Now, it does kind of have that like soft hint of kind of like air, like just fluffy, like it's happy. You can eat it. I always put in my Kix. I always put the nice sugar, in there. Probably too much sugar, but we just had a commenter say Kix can go 5 bowls easy. I think that's the case because the balls of the Kix were not as big, okay, as like a peanut butter crunch or a Cocoa Puff. They were a little bit smaller, so they're a lot easier consumed. It felt like maybe you had a lot more of it than you had the others because they were smaller balls. But yeah, you could. There you go, light and sweet. That's a comment right there. That's exactly it. Versus a Golden Grams, where it's a very hard flavoring. And again, it's kind of to me, and I love Golden Grams when I was in middle school because it was like one of the small box cereal that you can get. And again, you're a serial killer because you put chocolate milk in your cereal. Chocolate milk in Golden Grams, everybody. Watch out for this guy riding down the road because he will come after you with his chocolate milk in Golden Grams. And that just doesn't, yeah, exactly. Another comment. Michael would eat Golden Grams with chocolate milk, and I thought he was insane. But to be fair, everybody was insane in middle school. So, but
Hey,
that's
first of all,
weird. It's weird.
I told you this was a homerism pick, okay? And so, like I was saying, I took this is what it is, right? There is a person that says, like, say you're having a sports debate with a friend, and a friend says, "Hey, who's winning the Super Bowl this year?" And let's say you're a New York Jets fan, and you're like, "Jets, baby." You know you're not winning the Super Bowl, but you're just like, the homerism in me says, "Oh, the Jets are winning the Super Bowl." So you just say it. You don't mean it, and then in reality, you have your own pick that's like, "Oh yeah, like the Patriots or someone is probably going to win the Super Bowl." But you just say Jets because you're a homer. This was my homer pick. I love Golden Grams, and I know that I'm like in the minority with it, like big time. I haven't really met anyone who's like Golden Grams. Actually, I'm kind of like, I'm surprised that they still make Golden Grams. To be honest.
Okay, so what you're saying is by that sheer admission of defeat, we're going to be getting Kicks over as the
Oh
winner
yeah,
of this.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. No
okay,
doubt, no
okay,
doubt.
great. I don't even got to talk about it anymore. I
This
mean,
was
come
like
on.
a team that was overrated by some guy in the media, and then they get to the tournament, and then the tournament guys are like, "Crap, we shouldn't have put them in. What do we do that for? They're not actually good."
Okay, our last cereal of the first round. This was, I don't know if this is going to be a tough one or not, but to me it is because I do not like one of the cereals. And actually, still hate it today, still don't appreciate it. So that's on me. And this is again one of the picks that we had to put in here because everybody else said it was their number one. Lucky Charms, actually as the underdog in the 9 seed against Frosted Flakes, number 8 seed. To be honest, this is a very, very close matchup in my eyes because Frosted Flakes is kind of like one of those OG cereals that Tony the Tiger was great. You know what I mean? Like their marketing was fantastic. Lucky Charms is marketing.
Is that how he pronounced the word great, or did he pronounce it a different way?
No, he pronounced it a different way.
Which way would that be pronounced?
Great or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for right there. Okay,
hey,
I
Tony the
appreciate it.
Tiger was head honcho in the cereal game. Okay,
Yeah,
just
running
like
the
he
show.
is, just like he is in the freaking kingdom of Africa. The lion is the main species. You can't fuck with lions. Just like in Grandma's Boy. Okay, but Lucky Charms had a leprechaun who was, what was his gimmick? He would steal the marshmallows, or what was it?
No, it was something with a pot of gold, wasn't it?
Or you'd get, okay, so you would have to suffer through all the charms to get to the marshmallows. Is that
No,
kind
like
of
it was like I feel like it was the Lucky Charms were at the end of like you get to the end of the
yep,
rainbow and
yep.
there's the Lucky Charms or something like that. Let me look here. I'm actually looking at them right now.
So when my friend told me that Lucky Charms was his number one cereal and how in the world could it be ranked so low, my very first comment back to him was half the cereal is uneditable. No, inedible, right? Unedible?
Correct.
In or unedible. Can't eat it. Half
Both
the
and
cereal, yes, half the cereal you cannot even eat. Now, his response back to me was, it's all about ratio, baby. You have 2 or 3 or 4 charms to 1 marshmallow. And like, okay, I can get that because the charm had some type of flavor, but to me, there is not a ratio that you could have where the charm would ever get the upper hand to where the marshmallow would then kind of calm down the charm flavoring. To me, it was cardboard. To me, half the cereal was not fun to eat. What do you think about said statement?
well, I would just say that as much as I know that you are a Lucky Charms hater, that I'm right in that same boat with you. I think that Lucky Charms are just insanely overrated. I've never thought that they were good. They are only appealing because of the sugary marshmallow that is in the Lucky Charms. For example, I have a 3-year-old daughter named Cameron. Cameron always wants Lucky Charms. My wife bought this big box from Sam's Club that is has a bunch of tiny individual boxes of cereal in it. And then the one it has the most of is, I believe it's Lucky Charms, but she wants Lucky Charms. And so I'll open the little bag and I'll pour it into her bowl. And she won't even let me pour milk in there because all she wants to do is pick out the marshmallows. And so you yourself having a little girl, you know that little girls, they really just want like the little sugary treat type things.
Well, I
And
think
so
kids in general do. My daughter does the same thing. No
right.
milk, eats the
Yeah.
marshmallow, and then I always have to come after the fact and say you need to eat the charms too. And so
Well, I don't
when
do
you
that. I
said
just give
that,
the charms to the dog. I'm like, "Here,
oh
the dog will eat this."
no, no, that's bad parenting right there.
Yeah, you're probably right. You are probably right on that one.
Yeah.
But
So
once she's done, she's done. And my point is that it's really not that good of a cereal. The kids aren't interested in the charm. The charm is a high spot for for the fan of the sugary type of cereal, but the charm itself, no one gives a crap about. They don't care about that. It's not good. It's a very bland, just like I don't even know what it is. But like, if think about it like this: if you were to take the marshmallows out and you were just having the charms in a bowl, it would be garbage. No one would even eat that. It would be terrible. No one would buy it.
That's 100% the truth. But when we said that to our friends, their first comment back was always, but what about the ratio? That's the key. Yes, the charms are a little bit hard, but you get 4 charms and 1 marshmallow. Every couple bites of charm that you get a marshmallow. But then my response to that is, well, why should there ever even be a ratio? Like, I'm not having this. I am not going to have to pick around to get 4 charms and 1 marshmallow. I'm just going to get a scoop of cereal into my mouth. And
Right. I'm not worried about a ratio.
yes, exactly.
I'm pouring from the bag into the bowl, and whatever it is, it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, it I don't know, dude. I'm such a hater of Lucky Charms that like I'm just ready to be done talking about them because
I
Lucky Charms
know.
by themselves are frustrating, and it makes me want to just beat up that little Irish dude that's on the box.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and put Frosted Flakes through here.
We didn't even
But
talk about Frosted Flakes,
we
but
don't have to.
it's an all-time legend. That's all you need to know.
Well, yeah, and how many times? Okay, and here's the thing about Lucky Charms too. If you love the marshmallows, you love the charm, whatever. But here's even if you were to get a whole spoonful of um, marshmallows, it actually isn't that good. Excess of the marshmallow is not even a good thing because they are chewy sometimes, too much sometimes. Um, not feeling it. Frosted Flakes goes through 100%. Um, I think now that we're done with the first round, to be honest, honey bunches of oats against Frosted Flakes doesn't need much time. I'm going to go ahead and say that Frosted Flakes won on technicality, but is going against the number 1 seed and has no reason even being in that class. I love Frosted Flakes, but it does get soggy, and we already mentioned how Honey Bunches of Oats doesn't get soggy. Okay. Frosted Flakes, I grew out of it. After about, 4th grade, 5th grade, I stopped eating it because
Right.
you can't have too much of it.
I think
But
it
I
I
still eat a Honey Bunches of Oats today. I still eat it today. Not
so
often.
one thing I would say about Frosted Flakes that you have to factor in is the burnout effect. Like, can you eat it consistently over and over and over and over again and get burnout on it? And I think Frosted Flakes has that ability along with a couple of other cereals. Frosted Flakes, I can burn out on. I understand sitting down and eating some Frosted Flakes and just totally wrecking shop and just eating it, but it's just a matter of time before you really burn out on it. And so Frosted Flakes for me is a burnout thing. And so I'm with you on that. I think Honey Bunches of Oats takes it right here.
100%. And then, unfortunately, we get to our number 2 seed. Um, um, our friend said, I vote Frosted Flakes because Honey Bunches of Oats will actually kill me. Now, that is an interesting story.
I don't
Why is
understand what
that?
that means.
So, someone
Hopefully,
has an allergy to
uh,
something.
well, well, I do know that our friend here, Alec, is lactose intolerant, which he shouldn't be. Oh, he's allergic to oats. Okay,
Oh,
that's
okay.
terrible.
So
That's
do we
not a
have
good
to
thing.
do we have to back it up?
No, no, we do not.
We don't.
Just because one guy can't eat them, okay, we're not ruining it for the rest of us, okay?
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to say that Honey Bunches of Oats is the first to the Final Four, which will end our night tonight. We will not be passing the Final Four until we go and get the cereals and have it next week. But I will say that we will clip and remember this part where Honey Bunches of Oats can actually kill somebody if they eat it.
Right.
And that, my
that's
friend,
important.
is a
That's important.
strong that's a strong favoritism against honey bunches of oats. That is fantastic. Number 2 seed peanut butter crunch against a underdog, if you will, because Kix already was ranked 10th to Golden Graham 7. But now, can the 10 take out the peanut butter crunch? Here's my theory. Kix and peanut butter crunch are essentially the same cereal. One has peanut butter flavor and the other has more of a peanut butter crunch more has a intense hard peanut butter flavor, and Kix has a very light sweetness but not really flavored. In my personal opinion, this is actually not as tough of a through as one might think, because Kix doesn't have a flavor versus the peanut butter crunch is a nationally renowned flavor that kicks and kicks so good for you. Chocolate, peanut butter, and Jesus Christ are 3 things in everybody's lives. Am I wrong?
I do not think that you're wrong. But one thing that I would say is that if you took away the smell and you just opened both bags and you poured them into a bowl, I think people would have a difficult time telling the difference between the two. I think they're very similar in color.
You are completely serial killer. You're telling me you couldn't taste the peanut butter and peanut butter crunch
No, without tasting
when
it.
you
Without
scoop peanut
taste
butter crunch
No,
and then
I'm talking about it just being poured into a bowl. No taste, you're just looking at it.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to really tombstone pile driver you. But yeah, no, you're right. You're right. To the untrained eye, they have a very similar pour and image.
Yeah, so I was just saying that they're similar in color. They're both round, I believe, right?
Right. But now we have a comment that we're going back to how peanut butter crunch cuts up the mouth so bad. Now, here's the thing, a cereal crunching up the mouth versus the flavor that
Cutting
you
up the
get.
mouth, yeah.
the the flavor in my eyes is more important here. The taste of the cereal versus, because here's the thing, it didn't really tear my mouth up. So maybe you are just crunching the cereal not in your teeth, but by the roof of your mouth and your tongue. To which I would say to you, kind sirs, what the fuck were you doing? Because I chewed the cereal with my teeth, not the roof of my mouth. I don't
Right.
get it. I I don't know. I've never also chewed on razor blades, so I could not describe to you the similarities in the cereal and razor blades. Um, Kicks, kid tested though, mother approved.
True. True. One thing I would say is that eating this cereal or eating any cereal of your choice, that you would be willing to sacrifice a little bit of pain for a little bit of pleasure when it comes to taste. Just like people don't necessarily want to work out to get in shape, and so they're willing to deal with a little bit of pain in order to get in shape. And so you will deal with the pain of the cereal scratching or cutting the roof of your mouth, if that happens to you, for the sake of the taste. The peanut butter crunch, if it does in fact cut the roof of your mouth, the taste outweighs the pain that it causes to the roof of your mouth, in my opinion.
Right, 100%. And this is the exact reason why Peanut Butter Crunch is getting rode in here as the passer into the second team into the Final Four,
Right.
the PB Crunch. But let me tell you why. As a kid, it tested mother approved. Well, I didn't want to listen to my mom. When
Me
she
either.
said, "No, listen, I don't think you should be eating that peanut butter crunch. You need to be eating this Kix over here." "Oh, really, Mom? I'm gonna go ahead and eat this peanut butter crunch right here, and my mouth's gonna bleed. Not my mouth, but your mouth might have bled. But yeah, I'm gonna deal with bleeding mouth." And I was probably swearing, talking back, getting a bar of soap in my mouth. All of this happened because I chose to run for the peanut butter crunch versus just listen to my mother, as most of you probably did, as rambunctious young gentlemen, as a loose term. I'm going for the peanut butter crunch.
Yeah, a side note, I still don't listen to my mom. So, I'm 31 and I still do not listen to her. So, there's that. But
Boom. Roasted.
yeah, yeah, roasted, mom, roasted. Um,
Roasted. You don't get nothing today. Not even some kicks today over peanut butter crunch. But
yeah,
to be
if it were up
honest,
to my mom, she would probably give me some crappy cereal that I don't care about, like shredded wheat without any frosted flavor on it, just a regular crappy old grandma shredded wheat. That's probably what she would give me.
100%. 100%. And she would make you eat it just because she hated you,
Yeah,
basically. Not
yeah.
not really,
You
Mom,
heard it here
but
first, everyone. My mother hates me.
and gave you regular shredded wheat
Right.
without any nothing. You had to literally choke it down until its last bite. Yes. Here's the thing about Kicks. As much as I like Kicks, I have not bought a box of Kicks or had a bowl of Kicks in a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It's not something that I'm going out to the store for. It doesn't have that. And that's exactly why Frosted Flakes lost. It's just not, I'm done with it. I would probably still like a bowl of it, but I'm not going to the store to purchase it. And that's another reason why I'm going to have to go peanut butter crunch as our second team in the final four. Next up, Cookie Crisp as a 3 seed and the very Cinderella Cocoa Puffs. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. Not for me, but it seems like we had a lot of fanboy love on the Cocoa Puff and as you might have called it, the chicken nugget of the cereal world. You said that, not me. But
Uh-huh.
what is your opinion here? Because these are both your picks.
Yeah, to be honest, here is where I go straight to the Cookie Crisp. Um, we have talked offline about this as we were preparing for this cast that Cookie Crisp was so unique because you're like, oh, bam. It's not just a cereal that tastes like a cookie, but it is a cereal that is in the shape of mini cookies. So you feel like you're eating cereal at the same time you also feel like you're eating a cookie, which is really the best of both worlds. Like what else could you want? And I bring it back to my Oreo O's discussion, which is you don't eat chocolate chip cookies without dipping it in milk, really, you know? So you to me, I go Cookie Crisp here. I don't think that I just don't think that it compares. I just prefer Cookie Crisp over.
Okay,
I don't know how you
so
feel about it.
well, we've got to now here's the thing. There's a lot of comment that just happened that is definitely thought about. Okay? So we have the cookie or we have the Cocoa Puff fanboy. Um
Yeah, he's
based
really fanboying
only
it out.
so get this, based only on the first bite of taste, he said. So essentially, you like the first bite, but every bite after that becomes subsequently worse in comparison. So if we were to really average out your enjoyment of the cereal, you would then have to say, based off what you said, is that Cookie Crisp would actually win 9 times out of 10. Now, we have to also, in my eyes, bring up, and this was a post that certain person posted, which was the old school advertising of Cocoa Puffs. here's the thing. I don't remember Cookie Crisp being advertised as much as a Cocoa Puff. And actually, Cocoa Puffs in general, one of probably the best advertising models out there for cereal. Everybody knows and loves the Cocoa Puff mascot. And I would say that every time that I did purchase a box of Cocoa Puffs, when I was a kid, not me, but just my family or whatever, like I always felt like, you know what? Last time I tasted it, I'm going to try it again, because the advertising was so good, that, you had to get it. And that's exactly what he just said. Maybe Crisp wins overall, but I'm picking Puffs off the shelf in the first place. It's got its hooks in me. And that's true. The advertising is that good, where you would go to the store and you would pull the box of the Cocoa Puffs, even though you knew it was about to taste like ground up freaking chocolate protein shake powder and milk. You would pick it still because it had such great advertising. And it, don't get me wrong, its first bite was good, but as it got soggier, as that chocolate just became so synthetic and overbearing, you just can't continue to eat that cereal. Versus Cookie Crisp, you ate it because it felt good in your veins. It was like crack cocaine going through your whole entire body. When you
Right.
got that first, because here's the thing, your parents didn't buy Cookie Crisp on the regular. I don't feel that was the case. No
No,
good
never.
parent,
You never bought good cereal on the regular. It was like you would get good cereal from time to time, but for the most part, it was like, oh, here's a good cereal, and then here's that crappy cereal you always eat, but you definitely hate.
right. And that's exactly my point. Okay. Cookie Crisp had that same exact appeal that the opposite of Kix had, where you want to eat it because it's a freaking delicacy of an opportunity to eat chocolate chip cookies in your cereal. And then not only that, but Cookie Crisp never got soggy. Am I correct?
No,
Ever.
dude, it was always solid. I was saying that earlier the first round. I was like, you could not touch it in the soggy game. No,
I mean, it got
it
soggy
depends.
eventually, I think.
Yeah,
Maybe long, but like the only reason that's even happening is because back in those days, you had just gotten the new Super Nintendo and you were
right.
freaking playing a bomb game and you had just woke up on a Saturday morning and had nothing to do but watch cartoons, play video games, and eat the cereal. And even then, it stayed hard and perfect. And you could have 3 bowls and feel like you had just got so crazy sugar high over something you just love because you didn't always get a chance to get it. I remember at my house, we'd have to buy the box of Cookie Crisp and then it would be gone that afternoon. Like it was such a family household favorite for us because it was so wrong. And
Yeah,
Je-
if I was home when my mom was taking the groceries out of the car and putting them on the shelf, I would help her put away the groceries just for my opportunity to grab the box of Cookie Crisp and eat it on the spot.
instantly. And that never happened with Cocoa Puffs ever. I don't feel like I needed to go and have me a bowl of Cocoa Puffs the second it got inside the house.
Right.
No. But Jack is conceding in a sense. He's saying he would pick the Cocoa Puffs, but he'll ride with the winner either way because there's no loser. But that's in itself an admission of defeat because we're selling the idea that Cookie Crisp is one of the American pastimes of cereal.
Well, I think I don't know about other people or even you, but I would say that for me, the soggy factor is something that ruins it can ruin anything for me. It can ruin a burger, it can ruin a sandwich, it can ruin uh cereal, definitely. When you get soggy too fast, I'm out. Like, I'm all the way out. I can't stand it. Um, so the fact that Cookie Crisp never gets soggy is a very big deal to me. And so that's why I pick it to go forward in this round.
The next round, which is our final cereal competition of today, is a real difficult one. Oreo O's as a 5 seed against Reese's Puffs as a 4 seed.
Oh.
Now, here's the thing. I cannot pick the pick based off its challenger in the next round because in my eyes, the winner of this match goes straight to the finals because I have a feeling that the healthier cereal of the final four is going to be out. You know, when you talk about cereal, you don't want to attribute your healthier cereal to, you know, the greatest of memories in your life. Did you, okay, that's why I'm going to leave it there because we can't talk about that because if we're playing it correctly, we do not know, you know, whichever one's going to win. So here's how it looks to me because I have never ate Oreo O's.
Oh
So
my
it's
God.
really difficult for me
You poor
to
deprived child. You just like you just don't know what you're missing out on. It's like you're like, "Oh, I've never had a carb." You know how terrible that you know how good bread is? It's like, you know how terrible that sounds? That sounds horrible. You just don't even know what you're missing. Like, "Oh,
You're literally so hyped on Oreo O's that you are comparing it to a building block of human life biologically.
I've"
And we got our first we got our first comment. Reese's Puffs, quick win for one. Next comment, Reese's Puffs are the trendy pick that casuals cling to. Oreo O's is the pick. He's sorry, it's not even close.
Which I agree completely with that second comment.
Right. Well,
Specifically
here's
because
my
of something I mentioned earlier, which was the fact that I have what I referred to earlier was the burnout effect, which means how many bowls of it can I eat? And I'm not talking first bowl and then immediately second bowl. I'm talking first bowls. If I could just pour a new bowl every time, new milk, everything, how many bowls of it could I eat before I got burnout? And I have tried with both of these easily to burn out on both cereals, and I have consistently been able to burn out on Reese's Puffs after about 3 or so bowls. I have never been able to burn out on Oreo O's just because it's like a gift that God has directly given to his people. He cares about his people, and that's why he realized that after 6 years, he was like, "Oh man, I made a mistake. I can't believe I did that. Me being God and knowing everything and having all power, I screwed up. I shouldn't have done that. Let me give this back to them because it is so legendary and so perfect."
yes, but can I hop in here?
Yeah,
Because
go
you
ahead.
you were on a roll, I understand, but let me ask you this question. Why did Oreo O's ever remove itself from the shelves in the first place?
Because millennials were born and they just didn't know what they were doing and a
Wrong
lot of
answer.
craziness. Okay, what happened?
The right answer is people stopped buying it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. People stopped buying Oreo O's. It cost the company more money to keep Oreos in production than it did for them to sell the cereal. Okay. That goes back to my original statement about the idea of Oreo as a flavor. It is not something, it's not a flavor that is like your go to number one. And then to even say that you're up against a cereal that has two of the sentimental flavors of like anybody's all-time favorite, Not to mention chocolate in general is like, there's like a freaking chocolate molecule in the brain whenever chocolate and a human interconnect. And there's like freaking senses that are literally just from, like, you get sexual feelings from eating chocolate in the human body. Now, Oreos are chocolate, but they don't, it's a very different flavor of chocolate. And it's a very hard kind of a, like a, I'm trying to taste it in my mouth and I want to throw up. Like, I don't like the idea of Oreo. Okay, let's say Oreo is a strong flavor. Okay. Do you think that Oreo ranks as a flavor anywhere close to chocolate or peanut butter? So if chocolate as a flavor,
Oreo is chocolate.
yes, okay, I'm not disagreeing, but it's a definite different type of chocolate flavor.
But it is chocolate, so they
It's
cancel
like,
each other out.
sure, it's probably
the
like
only
darker chocolate, which
the
nobody
only
eats.
Okay, first of all, that's my favorite type of chocolate. So, how dare
Exactly
you?
why you would enjoy
Let
an Oreo O's or enjoy.
let's start number one. How dare you?
Okay, okay, okay. Chocolate is number one flavor. Agreed?
Okay.
Of all time. Number two flavor of all time. Peanut butter. Agreed?
Okay.
Okay. Does the combination of chocolate and peanut butter defeat the variation of chocolate that is an Oreo?
No, because I told you already, it's the burnout effect. I cannot get with something that I burn out on when we're talking Final Four. If we're going to go into the Final Four, I cannot burn out on you. As simple as
Okay.
that. If I can burn out on you, you do not have a place in my Final Four.
Well, I can get burnt out on Honey Bunches of Oats, and it's in the Final Four.
I definitely cannot. I can eat that all day, every day, no problem. Because there's multiple flavors to it. There's an oat flavor. There's a honey flavor. There's not a bunch flavor because
He
that's
cuts
not a
out a
real
little
thing.
bit. Okay, you're back. Sorry, you cut out a little bit.
Yeah.
Which gave me proper time, because that was the almighty powerful trying to cut you off on that, because that didn't matter. What matters is there is no way that the tag team champions of the world would
Time
be
out.
chocolate
Do you
and
see
peanut
this
butter.
right here? Do you see this?
It's a coin. We're not flipping a coin. Here's what we're going to do.
This is a quarter, okay? And it looks like, because
It's a
we're never
specific
going
type
to
of coin.
Yeah, it's a 2017 what is that?
Nope. Here's what we're going to do.
We got to flip
Okay?
it, dude. We got to flip it.
We're not
not
going
gonna
to
agree
flip
on
it. We're actually going to end the cast. Okay? We're not going to talk about all the other things we wanted to talk about. Here's
But
what
we
we're
got to
going
get
to
to a
do.
Final Four either way.
No. Here's what we're
Oh
going
my
to do.
God. Here you
In
go
a
again.
stunning shock of a turn of events, we are actually going to not decide between Oreo O's and Reese's Puffs. We are actually going to be adding Oreo O's to the final four cereals that get tasted. And to start the cast, that was just so funny. Our commenter goes, "This is a quarter," Michael, which is you. Which is
Thank
just
you.
hilarious.
I didn't know. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
That's a hilarious take, because it
My God.
definitely looked like a quarter. Yeah. No, we are going to first taste test Reese's versus Oreo O's to see who gets into the final four. And
That's
part
a
of that
solid thing.
decision,
That's a solid decision right there on your part.
part of that decision is also going to be a weeks long poll of Reese's Puffs versus Oreo O's to everybody out there. And then we will
It's a play-in game.
Yeah,
that's what Jack says. Jack says it's a play-in game. That's what this is.
Yes, I think that's, describe play in game to me. I don't know that I know that term.
In the NCAA tournament, when you're trying to make the March Madness tournament, and either you have a good record or you win a weak conference or something of that nature. You have a play-in game against another team that the committee has selected and has basically said that you guys are on the same level. You have a play-in game, and whoever wins that game gets that seed into the tournament. And it's usually a 16 seed, so you're going to go against a 1 seed, and it's just going to hurt, and it's going to be terrible, but at least you would get in.
Right. Okay. Then yeah, it's a play-in game, and the winner gets to go against the number 1 overall seed, and that
Right.
makes sense because this is the 4 and the 5. So
Right.
that's a fair estimate. And the poll that we're going to put up is going to count for 10% of what you believe, and we'll just take that. If there's a winner,
How about this? We'll let the poll decide it. And I'll
no, because the poll, here's the thing. I really do feel like I don't like Oreo O's, but it's going to be a very unfair thing, because if you flat out don't like Oreo flavoring at all, like you'll just pick no matter what the other option is. And I don't want that to happen. I want myself to taste the cereal for the first time ever, because I have been a Reese's Puffs guy. Oh, I'm back. Am I back? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You just went crazy for a second. It's like you said, you were like,
can you hear me now?
yes, you were like, I'm a Reese's Puffs guy. You said it like 1,000 times. I was like, oh my God, dude, Matt's a robot and he's glitching.
I can't hear myself. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to end it right here. I don't know what happened, but I swear somebody was smiting me down.
You went wild.
Somebody must have been smiting me down or something.
Yeah,
if you can
Oreo
hear
O's
this,
are great.
I can't literally hear you at all. So I don't know if I should just keep going or not, but here's what we're going to do. Okay. We know what we're going to do. We're going to set the poll up. I'm going to buy the cereal myself. I'm going to taste it for the first time ever on air next week. And the poll is going to count for about 10% of what I feel. Somehow I'm back on track. I can hear myself now. I don't know what just happened there. I feel like I was talking bad about Oreo O's and the world wanted to smite me down in my own headset.
Correct. That's factual.
Yeah, sorry. And so we're going to end this. I'm Matt. He's Michael. We are the Flex Network. Stay tuned next week. We're going to have a play-in game. Reese's Puffs versus Oreo O's, a physical taste test on camera to see who gets into the Final Four. We'll then pick up our wrestling talk, maybe either on another cast this week, just to get it out, or whatever we're going to do. So,
and hey, real quick, for those who are watching or who are watching this maybe at a later date, a couple of things. Remember, if you like this video on YouTube, it helps us stay relevant on YouTube. So please like the video. It helps us gain some notoriety with recommended videos through YouTube. If you are subscribe. So if you are watching us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, like our video, and you can follow us on all social media platforms. You can follow us on the Flex Network on Facebook, Flex Network on Instagram, and then also Flex Network on Twitter. So,
I think it's Flex Network 1 on Twitter, but yeah.
Oh, okay. But you could just search Flex Network and just look for the pink boombox stereo and you will find us. That's where we're at. So until next time, we will holla at you guys later.
This is the Flex Network. Flex on them. Flex on everybody. This right here is the Flex Network. Yeah. Flex on the G. Flex.